Happy Tuesday, happy December, happy new moon and 12/12 portal days. So make sure if you are doing any kind of manifesting work that you take advantage of today and the energy, and hopefully everybody can hear me okay. I'm just going to give you guys a heads up that YouTube was glitched the F out over the weekend. I had to have them look into my account because it wasn't letting me upload anything at all. It did let me live stream in Patreon, but that was the only thing that I could do with my account all weekend. So if we have any buffering, if we have any tech issues, I have no control over that. It's YouTube. It's just been kind of a stressful mess lately dealing with it on the back end. But how is everybody? Hey, Preston. Hey, Sana. Hi, Zion. Hey, DeMarcus, Mom. Hey, Jennifer. Hey, Michael. Hey, Donna. Hi, Kernaya. I hope I said that right. Yes, I am feeling better. Oh my God. I don't know what the heck is going around because both me and my child took COVID tests. They said they were negative, but everybody's been sick. And it was 2 weeks of being sick. Every day I was just oh my God, when is this going to end? I started crying because I was so tired of being sick. So, well, we will see you later, Preston. Oh, I'm sorry, Jennifer. Hey, Amanda. So, oh, thank you, Sana. For everybody that's been commenting on my hair, do you know what I've done differently? I started using Pantene. I tried that whole let's be natural and not use any silicons or parabens or any of the stuff that's supposed to be bad for your hair. And baby, the way that my hair would break, I was just no, we have dry, curly, low porosity hair. We can't be out here without some silicones or something to give it some slip. So I honestly just was at the store and saw a Pantene set and grabbed it because I needed more shampoo and was let's just see what this is about. And because I haven't used it since high school. So. But apparently it's been working. So. But. Oh, I'm sorry, Jennifer, that you have the flu. I don't know what this is that's going around, but it's crazy because the last 2 weeks, 90% of the people that I spoke to, doing readings, they were either sick themselves, getting over it, or just starting to come down with it. And everybody was in different states and different countries. So I was just everybody in the world is sick right now with this virus, I guess. So, hey, Lindsay, what's wrong with it, Michael? I don't know. I mean, people said that Pantene was supposed to be horrible because it had all kinds of parabens and silicones and other stuff that's not supposed to be good for your hair, but I tried everything. It was all sarcasm intended, lovely, fun 2-year journey of trying to go natural. And I was just you know what, it ain't working. We give up. I never found the magic products that helped. So, hey, Dario, how are you, babe? But, so this is how everything is going to work, guys. Just, little disclaimer here. This is the other fundraisers that we have done. You can send a super sticker or a super chat for $4.99 or more. Every single penny that we raise from this live stream, whether it's donations or AdSense, is going to be donated to a single mother who already had a toddler and unfortunately she lost her job while she was pregnant. Don't worry about, I know YouTube takes a percentage. I cover that when we do the donations, guys. So if you don't want to pay that though, you can send it to me on Cash App, Psychic Bella Love. It's the same exact picture that I have as my YouTube profile picture. I don't have Zelle or Venmo or PayPal. I will never ever use Venmo or PayPal for the entirety of the rest of my fucking life, because that's a whole other story for a whole other day, but they owe me thousands of dollars still and are still fighting me on giving it back to me. So we use Cash App, or you can send it through YouTube. And like I said, I will cover whatever YouTube takes out of it when I do the donations. We have 2 single moms that we are sponsoring this month as a community. They are community members as well. They're not comfortable with their identities being exposed, which is fine. But I verify everything and make sure it's legit before we do any of this stuff. And but yeah, so I was like, sorry, we were supposed to do this last week, but I was sick. But we'll do some extra lives next week to make up for it. Outside of these though, guys, I am not accepting requests for readings on YouTube. It is only in the context of these fundraisers. Otherwise, go to patreon.com/psychicbellalove. That's the only place I take requests. You can thank the hundreds of people that bullied the fuck out of me when I first started on YouTube as to why we do not do requests on here. Because I know people get mad and they're like, why did you let one person ruin it for everybody? It was not one person. I'm not kidding. It was hundreds of DMs and emails and getting cussed out. Somebody thought that they were doxing me and said that I lived in Sacramento, which I do not. And they said it was on a street I never even heard of. But I was like, that's cute. It was, at least I looked it up on Google Maps. At least it was a nice house. They didn't say I lived in like a trap house or something. But I was like, nope, I've never lived there, guys. I don't know, but like, it ain't that serious. Like, calm down, people. So, and you guys can go ahead and submit your questions. Remember, no mediumship questions, nothing to do with substance abuse or health issues. And Nikki stuff we're doing on Patreon for now. But since this is a fundraiser, I will throw y'all a bone if you have questions about them, and I will actually do a reading on Blueface and Croissant if anybody cares. So I will make the exception this one time because I just can't stand that energy. But how are the cats doing? Oh my God, you guys. The cats outside are so big. Like, for a hot minute, Whitney seemed so big in comparison to them and she's very small for a full-grown cat. She's just always been a petite girl. But, you know, because they were so little, now they're all as big as she is or bigger than her. Even Onika is almost the same size as her now. And Onika is, she's healing up. Most of her fur is starting to grow back in from where it was all taken off of her, because she looked like she got in a fight with Freddy Krueger and it shredded all the hair up off of her side, poor baby, and took all the fur off of her nose too. And then she was limping, but she's almost completely healed. Tori's eyebrow grew back, and Chance's is mostly grown back too, because Carlos was just being the bully that she is. And I mean, he or she, I don't know. That cat's collar says Angel on it, and it is anything but an angel. But they're all so cute. They're all doing so good. But I do feel bad for Onika because Michael keeps, now that she wants to like be in on the like, I want to get a pet in the morning, which is huge progress that she wants pets in the morning too. But Michael has decided that since he is now the attention hog out of all of the kittens, that he wants to call himself slapping her and pushing her whenever she tries to get in the little group that want pets. So we had to discipline him this morning and tell him that he is named after Michael Jackson and that is not Michael Jackson behavior. So, and of course, because y'all know I'm gonna be extra as fuck and weird as hell, I played Pink Friday Girls for the kittens and showed Onika Nikki's pictures and talked to her about why it is such a monumental, important thing that she carries that name right now. So, no, Sana, you're right. It's always like some chihuahua named Princess that like bites everybody. That when you go to that one family member's house and they just, well, she's a chihuahua. She's a chihuahua, you know, so they act like, oh, because the dog is biting you, like it's not that big of a deal because it's a chihuahua and not a pit bull. And it's like, you're still letting your dog bite people. So, but what is everybody's favorite song off of the album? Because Whitney and I were listening to Pink Friday 2 while we were getting ready this morning. And I said this in Patreon, only Nicki Minaj can get me to listen to people like Future and Drake and Lil Uzi, because those are all people that I actively do not listen to their music otherwise, but I'm sitting there all into it and everything. So it was super cute. So, okay, let me see. So we got a $20 donation from Rose. Thank you. You wanted to know if Trump will win next year's election. Whew. Okay. Let's see. I've really stayed away from politics this whole time because if you guys think that they don't all play for the same team and everything isn't already chosen for us and that our votes actually count, I have oceanfront property in Idaho to sell you. So, I loved all of the samples that she used on this album. Oh my God, it was so good. So every time I listen to the whole album, I find new songs that I like. Like there's always, you know, ones that just stick out to me. And then I'll end up going back and like listening to it on repeat again. And so Barbie Dangerous was the first one that like I was like, oh my God. And I have to say, between Nicki and Kanye, they are very much making up for the fact that Off Cheat ruined my birthday by spending the entire month cosplaying as Michael Jackson and then releasing his album on my actual birthday. So between the fact that Nicki did Barbie Dangerous, because if you don't know, Biggie is my favorite rapper, and then I've been saying for the last like 3 years, but especially for the last few months, that like I want like 50 Cent and Nicki on a track together. I was just like, oh my God. She made up for so much. And by the way, guys, just real quick, New Body is definitely coming out on the album, which is tentatively called Vultures right now, from Ty Dolla $ign and Kanye. Ty Dolla $ign and one of the producers both confirmed that Nicki is on the album and that her verse is on New Body, so don't worry. Kanye did not cut her off. He's not being petty. So, and I heard, and if you guys did see any of the clips that are going around from the raves slash listening party that Kanye did in Miami, because I know people were like, Kanye's known for his production and this doesn't sound mixed right. Actually, and it just reminded me of a lot of the stuff that happened to Nicki during the hate train, where people would purposely try to sabotage her by like playing the tracks out of order or fucking up her sounds. Like the production team, I guess, lost the final edits, and so they had to play the rough cuts and the unmixed versions off of Kanye's phone. So if you thought like, oh, the song sounded kind of sloppy, they weren't the songs that they were intending to play. And like I said, it was just giving me Queen era sabotage vibes all over again. Because I know somebody else said that they went to go look up some old Kanye interviews and different stuff that he's done throughout the years, and it was like scrubbed off of like the internet. So I was like, oh, well, I mean, we should know, because Kanye pissed off the wrong group of people, and Holly aware that they're going to be doing that kind of stuff. But I mean, the fact that they said Yeezy is back, and that was the whole thing with the sample from Backstreet Boys. We're definitely getting secular Kanye back, and I'm excited for that too. So I just feel like, remember I've been telling you guys, I know I've said this in Patreon, and I believe I've said it on YouTube too, maybe on my backup channel, that we were going to see music make more of that return to that mid-2000s era, you know, monster era with Kanye and Nicki, where we were getting good music and we were prioritizing talented people, because they have burned us and our eardrums out with the stripper and the lean and the mumble rap over the past few years, and people just got real tired. So Nicki has blessed us with that era and kicked that door open, and then here comes Kanye to follow and trust and believe that people that maybe we weren't paying as much attention to over the years are going to make some comebacks too. So, okay. When it comes to this whole like election, the intention of the elites and the people who really run the world is to bring back the Biden administration. And Spirit is saying that, you know, all of these, let's put Donald Trump through 185,000 different criminal trials and sue him and go after him for all these things suddenly, is because they're trying to make sure that he is not eligible to run, and basically trying to cock block him, right? So what Spirit is saying is that, you know, obviously a lot of this stuff sort of hangs in the balance of what is going to be the perception of the Biden administration once we get to the election, and will Joe be able to make it to then? And make it to then doesn't necessarily mean like be alive. It can also mean like, can he cognitively hold himself together and his shit together long enough, you know, to make people think, okay, well, you're competent enough to give you another 4 years. So I feel like there's this tower card here for Trump, so I don't feel him even getting anywhere near the end of it. Of course, things can change, because I do still feel like it is a little up in the air. Like, usually by now, they know everything about who's going to be in the cabinet, who's going to do this, who's going to do that. This is all still very up in the air for them, which is extremely unusual. And the main thing that they're actually concerned about, and again, this is going from the point of the elites, is the woman that's going to be standing next to Biden and who's going to, carry things forward, because it's like, with everything that we see going on with Biden, there is a real strong chance that we're going to end up with Kamala Harris having to take over at some point, right? And a lot of people do not like her. They don't feel confident in her. We haven't seen her out, very much. Like, what's the joke that we've all been saying, that she's recovering from a BBL, that they keep her in the basement and they only let her come out at Kwanzaa time and Easter, so it's like, we fucked up when it came to how we handled things with Kamala, but they still feel like they need a woman standing next to the president. So don't be surprised, you guys, because I know she has said no, but do not be surprised if we don't end up with Michelle Obama running in some capacity or another, whether it's vice president or if she ends up running for president too. And I live in California. Gavin Newsom has already secured funding so that he can step up and run for the Democratic position if Biden is unable to do so. And there's been rumors that we would get a Newsom Obama ticket if that was the case. And it could go that direction, because this woman is like the most important aspect to them. So took a whole year to heal. Cena, it took a whole 4-year term. And I was like, what kind of BBL is this? Because usually everybody that I know that's gotten one said it took like 6 months to a year to completely heal from it. This was the world's longest BBL recovery, a whole 4 years in office in the basement recovering. But it does not look like Trump is going to be president again. And Spirit is saying there are people that are really willing to do anything and everything to make sure that he's never going to become president. So, or become president again, I should say. That scarring was deep, I guess. Maybe they messed up her belly button. I know that's usually like the hardest part to get right, is the belly button, right? So, and listen, I'm not bashing anything, because like I have definitely considered getting a tummy tuck myself, because I have very bad diastasis recti and a hernia from my child's pregnancy. So at some point they'll have to get repaired. But I always like think about that with the belly button. Like, would it be weird if I just told them just to like leave it off? Because what's weirder, to have your belly button all the way up here or to not have one at all? Because it does seem like for some reason the doctors can never just place it in a spot that looks normal from what I see on the surgery pages I follow. But so that's why I was like, maybe she had a hard time with the belly button and her body was rejecting it or something. So, okay, let's see. I'm trying to read this. Dude, I need my glasses. Oh my God. I was like, the white against the orange was all blue, like blurring together. Maybe it was from being sick. Why does Zayn's management not promote him except for their own projects? His one manager had a farm in the UK that he is an ambassador for now. And the other one just goes on vacation with him and her family and friends. Okay. Well, that's why I said, Lindsay, I was like, I don't know. It's so weird, because I do feel like they always look like they're higher than they're supposed to be, or God forbid, like, I mean, I try not to pay too much attention to like the whole Bluetooth and croissant saga and drama, but one of the pages that I follow zoomed in on like Jaden's belly button, and I was like, oh my God, that poor girl. Like, it did look like her body was rejecting it. And hey, Ange, I hope you have a great dinner. And hey, Dee, I'm glad you made it. So let's see what's going on with Zane's management. Do you know what his managers' names are, hun? Well, listen, the way that Fabio thought that, did you guys see that? That was like so embarrassing but funny at the same time, that Fabio thought that everybody's song that they were saying Fabi instead of body. And I was just like, well, my nickname is Barbie. So every time that Nikki has any song that's Barbie anything, she's talking about me, and me and Fabio can go sit in our little Delulu corner together. But you know what? Shout out to him, because he didn't work with the queen and then turn on her like all these like fake hoes did. So, you know, we got to give him that. I really think he was trolling, because he doesn't seem like he's that big of a cornball. I mean, I think sometimes he does dumb stuff, but okay, Nicole and Taryn, all right. Okay. I wish to God that Noriega and Drink Champs had, first of all, let Kanye finish a sentence when they interviewed him. But secondly, that they had left it up, because this would add a lot of context to this, because Kanye talked about it in that interview where he said that basically, you know, the industry will put handlers and people who are meant to like control you in your circle, and you may not even be aware of it, you know. And it could be like, oh, like here I was just thinking that I had a personal trainer, and then all of a sudden he's the one that's getting me locked up on a 5150 like Harley Pasternak did to Kanye. For some people it's the stylist or the makeup person or your assistant or your managers. And so what label is Zayn on? Does anybody know? Because this feels like these people were placed in his circle with this like purposeful, we're gonna try to hold you back and not promote you and not like do the best for your career, like, but we're being directed to do that because there's somebody else that doesn't want Zayn to be as successful as he could or should be. And you know, these are kind of corrupted people that are around him that are only meant to sort of aid in holding him back. Oh, RCA, well, that makes a lot of fucking sense. And if you guys didn't know, Mercury now, okay, Atlantic and RCA have a weird relationship. They kind of work together, but then they also compete against each other. And so that's also why a lot of times, you know, people get held back and whatnot. But RCA is known for that. I've told you guys, they do favors for other labels. And it is, oh, well, we don't want Normani being pushed because we want to prioritize other people right now. So RCA sign her and stick her on layaway and hold her back so that we can promote these other artists. And so it's happened to so many different artists that are signed to RCA. Every once in a while, they'll let them keep a superstar and actually push them so that way they can still keep the label open. But they're basically a shell and used for that. And they're being used on the back end by all the other labels. So, I mean, I tell you guys all the time, Hollyweird, and especially the music industry, I mean, the entertainment industry as a whole, but especially the music industry, it really is like the mafia. And they all work together in one way or another to either destroy people or uplift people or do whatever weird shit that they want to do. So that's why also, guys, no, you can ask that, Lindsay. That's fine. But that's why, like, with the Diddy stuff, he was smart enough to include people that have a lot more to lose than him in a lot of his crimes. So you have to remember, and this goes for every single one of these people that gets outed and exposed and canceled and all of that stuff, whatever we hear about is not the worst things that they have done. And it is not the extent of what they have done. It's what we are allowed to know, because they're always gonna, okay, well, if Jay-Z was involved in some of the shit that Diddy was doing, or Clive Davis, or somebody else that has a bigger name and they're not on the cancellation list because they didn't piss off enough people, they're not gonna let those crimes get exposed in order to protect those other people, and they'll just let them get punished for lower level shit. So, and that's why people like Jay-Z and Diddy have been smart enough that they make sure that they include other people who are a bigger name and have more to lose than them in kind of the worst of this stuff that they do, because it adds that layer of protection of, you ain't gonna let me go down for this because you're gonna go down too. And, you know, when you think about it, at least right now, the worst that Diddy's dealing with is civil lawsuits. He's not like facing jail time. But if some of the other stuff that he was involved in came out, he probably would. But there's other people that the industry is still protecting. So that's why that shit hasn't popped out yet. So, you know, it's a dirty, dirty game that nobody wants to play if you can help it. But there's also this thing here of, you know, Zayn was kind of in this dark place for a long time too, that even when he was still creating stuff, he didn't have this like need or drive or desire or want to go do, you know, all of the tour and the typical media promotion stuff that you have to do, all the interviews, all the other things, you know. So he was sort of like letting it slide, or not like looking at this situation of like, the team of people that I have around me aren't doing enough for me, like as clear as we can see it from the outside looking in, just because it's like I kind of had so much going on with me personally and in my own personal life that I felt like was more important to deal with. And now I feel like he's starting to come out of that fog. And I do still get that Zayn is always gonna do things his own way, which is why he's not gonna be as supported by the industry as somebody like Harry Styles would be. Because if you guys don't know, the whole reason, you know, why maybe some of the other boys in the group are not as successful or as pushed to the forefront as Harry, when they're all, from my perspective at least, seem to be as equally good looking and talented, is because a lot of them, either they got enough of a taste of how really gross the industry can be and it's like, I don't want to play those games anymore, or they're not willing to be the puppets, or they had to take a step back because they have mental health issues or other things going on in their life that they felt was more important. So that's why it was like Harry was willing to play the games and he was willing to like let everything go and just focus on the career, and that's why he got pushed. Zayn, he reminds me a lot of Kanye and Nicki, but not so much in the outspoken sense that they are, but in that sense of, I do this because I'm a creative person and I love what I do and I have real fans that I know that appreciate it, but I'm not doing it to be #1 of all time, greatest ever, blah, 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 blah. If you guys name me that, I'll own it and I'll take it, but I'm not coming from that perspective, and I'm not going to play all the industry games and let all my creativity be taken away from me. So he's still, you know, I feel like Zayn is kind of one of those people that is like, he's mainstream, but he's a niche artist at the same time, if that makes sense. Like the mainstream knows who he is and have fallen in love with some of his songs, but is he ever going to be like the main boy, you know, that everybody's like going crazy over? No, but he'll sort of be more in that Chris Brown kind of place where it's like you have a strong fan base and a lot of people that do love you and a lot of other artists that also like to work with you, that will still keep your career afloat even when you don't have all of the playlisting and radio support and everything else that comes with being more mainstream, because you're willing to play that game. So these managers of his, they will end up being cast to the wayside, and we will see him resurface with an entirely new team probably sometime next year. And next year, Spirit saying, is going to be a big year for him as far as making a bunch of changes in his life, like just in general, coming out of the darkness and being in like a happier, like more centered place. And then I see a lot of projects coming his way too. You know what I could see Zayn doing too? I could see him on one of those like HBO type shows, you know, where it kind of is like Euphoria, but without all the euphoria-ness, you know what I mean? Like just those style of shows. I could see him on one of those. Also, we were talking in Patreon about how Sweetie should get into acting because she could take on a lot of the like types of roles that Megan Good used to play back in the day, because Sweetie and her kind of favor each other, and I could see Sweetie being like the cute girl in a bunch of like romantic comedies and movies. So yeah, Zayn is very attractive. He's a really cute guy. So, okay. Yoko Ono and John Lennon's relationship. Let's take a look at that. Hey, DeMarcus, Mom. When Nikki said he could have put Zayn on it. I loved that song, Bed. I know, like, people were hating on that song. That song was so fucking good. And I will tell you guys this, that somebody that's in the industry told me that not only did we get very fed for PF2, but that next year, Nikki's gonna be on a lot of songs, so we're gonna be getting very fed throughout the year. So, because apparently she did a lot of really good collaborations and features that are gonna be coming out over the next year. Okay, let's see. So is Yoko Ono and relationship. Really like, thank you. Jennifer, you know what? Sometimes I just do not understand these people. Like the teams that people have around them in the industry, like Chloe Bailey's team. Dude, we were in Patreon putting together like whole fucking marketing and PR packages for her. And we were like, oh my God, we could have like made this girl's career like blow the hell up. Who the hell does she have working with her? So that's somebody that really needs a new team, Chloe Bailey, because she is so freaking talented. But she just doesn't have the right people around her really pushing her in the right direction. Carlos about to drown. Didn't she say she was coming? Listen, I just want to remind y'all of something real quick, okay? Because we've been talking about this over in Patreon too. Carlos is in her Walmart era. All right, Nikki has done the freaking all my looks through the years and 73 questions and the cover of Vogue magazine. She's on freaking what is it called now? Because Kelly Ripa's show they change the damn name every time because she always gets new co-hosts. Is it Mark and Kelly or something like that? She was on there. She's supposed to be on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen. I think Thursday night, but check your listings because I may be wrong because I have a horrible memory right now. But, you know, Nikki's doing all these big things and Carlos is over there talking about how she burned her fucking coochie with the yoni pads from, what's it called? The Honey Pot, trying to get a fucking pad sponsorship on Instagram. And I guarantee you she's going to come out with a freaking pad sponsorship from them because the way that she was trying to act like she didn't know anything about the pads. Oh, whoever came up with these, they really do help with my cramps though. I don't know who did this. Like, really, Carlos, everybody knows the fucking story of the Honey Pot. That's why you buy those damn pads instead of the Always ones or any of the other brands that are on the shelf. You know, so it's like she's trying to like scam and act like she didn't know anything about it. And then when she comes out in a couple months as their new brand ambassador, is gonna be like, well, when I went to the gym that one time and I told you guys about how these helped my cramps. But it's just like, really, Carlos, like you're on Instagram talking about pads and fucking tampons and your coochie sweaty while Nikki is in Vogue. And then the weekend after that, she breaks like all the records for the most streamed album of all time. It was just like the way that people, I mean, it's just, can we please stop comparing the two of them because they are not the same. They are not in the same lane. They do not deserve, Carlos does not deserve to be compared to Nikki. How many albums has Nikki put out now that she wrote herself and y'all are going to compare one fucking album that came out 6 years ago that she didn't write a single word on to what Nikki has accomplished? They're not in the same lane at all. So it's just like, give it up. But this proves to you guys what a fucking like mess her life is in her career, and the fact that Atlantic really doesn't support her anymore because, again, I've talked about this a million times. How does somebody who's in a 360 deal get to act like they get to boss their fucking label around? But yet, go watch the Zach Sang interview with Ariana Grande, and she's got way more power in her career than Carlos does. And she was talking about how she was having freaking screaming, crying matches with her team over what songs were actually going to make it on Sweetener or not, and that they were trying to force her to go in a different direction than she wanted with it. So, and Ariana Grande is a much bigger star than Carlos, and Ariana Grande will always be a much bigger star than Carlos, and Ariana Grande has recouped all of her albums for her labels and made a shit ton of fucking money. So if she is at the point in her career that she is, where we all look at her and we're like, yes, that is a superstar, and she has to fight with her label about what songs she can and can't include on her album, why would you think that Carlos has the ability to dictate to Atlantic what is and isn't going to happen? It's not. So, but this is the thing, two things I want y'all to just really think about, okay? Number one being that she told y'all that she had to fund bozos herself. Okay, does that sound like your label believes in you when they say if you want to put out a music video for that, you have to pay for it? There's a difference between Nicki, who just dropped Red Ruby to Sleaze and wasn't planning on putting out any kind of visuals for it until we harassed her into it. That was like, let me put together some behind the scenes shit to feed the barbs. And because I guarantee you at no point did Nicki even have a conversation with her label about a budget or visuals for Red Ruby. And it was just like, let me put some shit together real quick to feed the barbs because I'm more focused on the album right now. But you know who Atlantic did give a budget for a music video to around the same time? Nicki and Ice Spice for Barbie World. That is where the budget for the music video went to. And they told Carlos, we're going to fund your enemy and you have to figure out your own shit. So there is that part of it. Rihanna herself has talked about how, you know, look at all the shit that happened around the anti-release, and Rihanna's had issues with having creative control in her career too. And she's also somebody that has definitely fucking recouped over and over on her contracts and was putting out albums every year the same way as Ariana was. But again, if they have to fight, then why do we think that, like, oh yeah, Atlantic is just over there and Carlos just calls the CEO every day and cusses them out and tells them what she isn't gonna do, and they're just going along with it. And oh yes, Carlos, whatever you want. Oh, fuck that. Come on. Nope, she never even toured. So I know, exactly. Your same label that only signed you to try to destroy the op is now the one that's supporting the op. And don't forget, you guys, come February of 2024, that makes 7 years since that original record contract was signed with Atlantic. And in California, you can only keep somebody in a recording contract for 7 years, and they signed it in California and it was based out of California. So the law stands with her, which means that Atlantic has a few different options that they can do with her. They can drop her and sue her to recoup the money that she still owes them. They can shelve her and refuse to put out any more music with her and continue and make a side agreement that they can continue to recoup what she still owes them from any other projects that she has going forwards, or they can sign another recording contract with her. I highly doubt the third option is what's gonna happen, but it'll be interesting, you guys, the next few months. Let's see, either Carlos puts out the album or she gets dropped. So, and when you're on a 360, they own your name and likeness. So Carlos can try to go do all the Walmart ads that she wants. Every check that she gets, it's getting sent to Atlantic and they're taking their cut first, and then it makes its way to her. Her reality TV baddies era is loading. Well, now she can't do the reality show with Off Cheat unless she wants to do one as her new life as a single mom. Oh my God. She's screwed either way. I mean, and she's still going to owe them all the money that she hasn't made them back. You don't get absolved from that. Because that was the part of the original contract, that you were going to, you know, get paid so much and owe them so much. And it'll be Interesting. We should change his name because now he can cheat in peace. Well, let's not jump to conclusions because nobody plays games with their marriage more than these two. And my friend was saying, she's like, you know, at the end of the day, like that tells you everything that this was not a real relationship or one that they valued, because people who really care about their relationship not only want to protect it, but they're not going to use it for publicity stunts and clout and risk that, like, oh, you accidentally did manifest a divorce because you were always pretending like you were going to get one every single time that you wanted attention. And that's true. I mean, I would never play with a relationship that I cared about like that. So, oh my God. Can you guys imagine Carlos working at Walmart? I just imagine her getting in fights with people at the return counter at customer service over vacuums that don't work anymore and money orders at the first of the month for people to pay their rent and stuff. Like, that would be freaking hilarious. Let's see if she pretends to be black then. The barbs would run down. Oh my God. Shit. It would, remember when Jason Flee, the train incident, and that Barb was like, I am gagging, I'm gagging. And Jason Lee is on the train, I'm gagged. Like, that would be Carlos's entire life every day at her Walmart job. Just some Barb showing up, sticking a camera in her face, talking about, look at us. Look at this. Gag City, you guys. We all moved to Gag City. Carlos is working at Walmart. I am gagged. She would never run into any of the Barbs because I know they go to Target. Look at Sata's in the UK and they don't even got Walmart or Target over there, and she knows what she's talking about. You're right. We are a Target family. You're more likely to find us in the home goods section of Target rather than fighting for our lives at the self-checkout at Walmart. Oh my God. You have me laughing because I'm just imagining Carlos on one of those motorized shopping carts going through the parking lot trying to get away from a Barb, and just them with their freaking phone out on live chasing her. Look at who works here. Listen, right now I don't have a car because I had to get rid of mine because the transmission went out, and your girl needs to figure out what kind of a car I even want so I can start shopping for one. But so I have to get stuff delivered, and honestly, I do the Walmart delivery because when I buy my groceries every week, I always have to buy a bunch of cat food, and that shit is like heavy as fuck. So I haven't gone to Target in so long, since like the first week that I sold my car. It's not that far from me. It's like really just like a quick little walk down the street, but I'm not trying to drag a 30-pound bag of cat food down the street with me. So, but you will never catch me inside of a Walmart. I will get it delivered though. And I do, but and they have good prices on cat food. But alrighty, so let's see Mr. John Lennon and Yoko Ono. Whew. Okay. Well, the first thing that Spirit's saying is that if he had made it, they definitely would not have stayed together, and they wouldn't have stayed together a whole lot longer, like maybe like 3-4 more years after when he actually passed away, if he had lived. It was a very kind of all over the place relationship. So this is the thing that I'm getting from Yoko Ono's like energy is very Rick Owens' wife, Michelle Lammy type of high priestess, high witch type of vibes and energy. And because we have the Ace of Wands here, it's talking about also taking on this like succubus form. Like, I was able to seduce this man. There was this way that I was able to like sexually enchant and entrance him to this point that I could get him to kind of, you know, manipulate him and get him to do whatever I wanted to. And so that's how she got him to do like all of the different things that she wanted him to do. But this is the funny thing. He was fully cheating on her the entire time that they were together. And it feels like there was somebody, a younger woman that he had on the side that he may have ended up leaving her for if he hadn't passed when he had. So there's some... This girl may not have been fully of age, though. I mean, let's not act like John Lennon was like a wonderful person, because he really fucking wasn't. Nobody in the Beatles was actually a good person in real life. But especially Paul and John. And it feels like, you know, this wouldn't have been such a horrible, crazy, like, controversy, like, back then, because we let a lot of shit go back then. But it would have been something that, like, if it had played out, it would have gotten re-brought back up in this era where people are like, oh my God, John Lennon was dating this girl and she was 17, you know? And then they would have tried to, like, retroactively cancel him for it later on. The way that they do, because, you know, I've seen people now that they're trying to like cancel Steven Tyler for similar things that he did back, you know, in the 70s and early 80s too. But back then, everybody knew this kind of stuff was going on and just allowed it to take place underneath their noses. So we would have seen, you know, a similar situation with him, and this would have been brought back up. I don't feel this woman wanting to come forward, though. So maybe like after she has gone and passed, somebody in her family might tell her side of the story. But Spirit's saying she's actually terrified of Yoko Ono, and she also just doesn't want that kind of attention in her life. It's a blonde girl, is what Spirit's saying. It's a white blonde girl who is really young looking. She had like long straight hair that she wore parted in the middle. But they definitely would have a lot of drunken fights, a lot of arguing. Then it was like real low lows, real high highs. So this was just one of, I mean, you know, now we see Bluetooth and Croissant having this type of a relationship. It's like kind of similar vibes, and they would both throw things at each other and act out physically and stuff too. But Spirit's saying it's like, to them, it was like, we're creatives, we're artists, this is what we do, actually. Our emotions are art too. So when we fight, it's like we're creating more art. It's just the world doesn't get to share in it. Like, that kind of, you know, weird justifying that toxicity that the two of them, you know, had together. But it wasn't like the best relationship, and it would have fizzled out at some point, because I do feel like you know, he felt like she was extremely controlling and manipulative at times. But Spirit's also saying John kind of likes to play that role with people in life. Like, I will stand here and let somebody else sort of take that center stage, but then let them be the bad guy too. Because then by me being the person that's on the side of it, I look good in comparison. So he would do that with Paul. He would do it with Yoko Ono to kind of try to hide, you know, that he was the same or his own shit that was going on. And so he liked the drama that she brought to his life. It's just, you know, young, toxic, crazy fame stuff. Ugh. People will literally excuse anything or find any reason to excuse stuff. So, let me see real quick. Let me check my emails. Okay, somebody else sent $10. Who did you ask about? Whoever sent this, I need a question. Let me respond to it real quick. If you guys send it on Cash App, please put your question. And if you don't put the question on Cash App, you can put it in the comments and just say, I sent you a Cash App, please, because I need to know what the questions are unless you were just donating. Okay, and then there is another one. Oh, this person wants to know. They said that they saw on the Kanye pages, I think they meant Kanye fan pages, Bianca with the kids, and I saw that too earlier. I saw a picture on one of the Kanye fan pages of Bianca, Kanye's wife, carrying Chicago around at the listening parties. So they wanted to know how the kids feel with her and if they like her more than Kim. So, well, exactly, Sana. It's just like, oh my God, like people get so fanned out that they will excuse anything. Like, look at all of the people that have gone to so many extremes to excuse what Carisha's connection to Diddle Bop, right? And it's always like, oh, well, she's playing a game and she's just getting paid to be there and this and that. And it's like, so she's a prostitute? Because, like, sometimes when y'all be making up these excuses for people, you make it seem worse with the explanations that y'all be giving. And it's just like, getting paid to get peed on is prostitution. And if she's a prostitute, that's fine, but just admit you are and stop acting like this is a normal, like, relationship dynamic, because that's not. And look at all of the crazy things that have come out over the past few weeks. And then I see a lot of those people now, they're like, oh, well, we don't know what Carisha's been going through and maybe she's a victim too. And I'm like, oh, first she was in charge of the whole entire situation and she loves getting peed on and that was her like thing that she chose that she wants to do. And now she's a victim and she's being peed on against her will. Which one is it? Oh, we've been calling him Diddle Bop, Havana. That's why I was laughing when he called her Shorty Wop or whatever, because I was like, I've been calling him and his harem Diddle and the Bops. So, well, listen, let me tell you something, you guys. People who make every single thing in their life about money and who put money at the top of the importance of everything, stay the fuck away from them, because they will sell your ass out in a fucking second for a damn dollar. People who think that like all value in the world revolves around money are the most lost motherfuckers, but also the people that you cannot ever trust, because they're going to throw anybody and everybody under the bus chasing that damn dollar that they put all their importance on, and they cannot be trusted. So they'll sell you out for 62 cents if they could. They would. I mean, it don't even have to be any kind of good money either. They'll just throw your ass to the wolves just to get it. And I mean, you know, when it comes to Caresha, I totally believe she's that kind of a person, because look at what she's done to JT. And JT's the whole reason why you even have the life that you have. Because, you know, when it comes down to it, yeah, Caresha might have been the one that, like, had to go hold shit down for a minute when they popped off. But it was JT's verses and JT's artistry on those songs that made anybody even want to pay attention to these girls in the first place. And JT could have picked any pretty girl that she came across to be a part of the group with her. She chose you, Caresha. So have a little fucking respect for the fact that you wouldn't have the life that you have or the position that you have if she hadn't gone to Jack in the Box that day and seen somebody cuter than you and asked them to be on it instead. Some things are definitely more valuable than money. You can always make more money. You can't always meet more loyal people. Okay, so now this isn't to say that Kim's children do not like her or don't ever enjoy time with her. But what Spirit's saying is they feel this sense of like happiness and contentment when they're with their dad that they don't necessarily get at Kim's. And I saw that clip that went around, so this is, I guess, probably confirming like whatever, you know, I don't know if you guys saw that. It was on the blogs because I don't watch their show, but I guess it was a clip from the show when Kim was telling Courtney that like North likes going to her dad's house more because they don't have chefs and security and nannies and all that stuff everywhere, and it's just a normal house and they all make dinner together and do normal people things. And Spirit is saying like that feeds the kids on a soul level more than any of the like fancy shit that Kim tries to do for them. And Spirit saying, you know, Kim isn't about the little like everyday moments. She is the person that always wants to do the big thing. Like if you're in a relationship with her, she is going to be far more concerned and more happy if you are taking her on lavish vacations and buying her new cars and renting out billboards to tell her that you love her. But you hardly ever see her, or you only see her a couple times a month. She would rather that than somebody that's around her consistently and treats her great day to day and does less of the big stuff. She's all about the big reveal, the big drama, the big moment, the big expensive gifts and excursions and experiences. And so it's like she would rather take North to the Met Gala or traipse Saint all across like Europe to go to every soccer game there than do bedtime every night with a book and a story and eat dinner together and like those types of everyday moments. Whereas Kanye, they have that structure, they have that one-on-one time, they have that there's not a bunch of people who work for you around. I just get to be with my dad when I'm with him, and that really makes all of the kids really happy. And they really, I mean, we see that they do act like their dad is a literal superstar because it's showing up as the emperor and not in like a bad sense, but that they really do look at their dad like he is the ultimate, like he's the best guy, like we're so excited, this is my dad, he's amazing. And it's like, but Kanye doesn't have to do big crazy shit for them to feel that way. It's just nothing but happiness around them. They're also talking about Kim tries really, really hard to kind of manipulate the kids because she does not want the kids to really accept and love Bianca, but the girls especially love Bianca. We've seen North that she seems all excited when she's around her. You know, Chicago seemed really comfortable with her carrying her around last night. And it is, you know, we've got the Page of Cups here talking about the girls, especially. Not that Saint and Psalm don't like her, but it's just there's something that's like, maybe she's really girly or something, that she's really bonded with the girls in a really good way. And so they have a really good relationship with her, and that makes Kanye appreciate her even more. Also, this is confirming any of the rumors that come out about their relationship are coming from Kim's camp. So when we got that little blast a few weeks ago that Kanye controls Bianca and she's not allowed to eat or dress how she wants to, and she can't speak when they're in public, and she's not allowed to do this or that, and she can only do what Kanye says. First of all, it was complete and utter bullshit. And secondly, Spirit is saying, you know, they're paying these outlets or feeding this information to TMZ and Page Six, and that's the thing too, guys. Daily Mail, Page Six, TMZ, DeuxMoi, and the Shade Room are all Kardashian paid outlets. So anytime that you ever see them post anything about Kanye, no, it's probably bullshit and it came from Kris Jenner and Kim, because they're nowhere near done trying to paint Kanye out to be a monster, because that's what they do. Kim is a narcissist. Narcs don't just let you go. They still have to try to punish you constantly. But the kids really love Bianca. I mean, I do see that they have a good relationship with her. It's not that they love her more, but I do feel them being maybe slightly more comfortable with her. And them having, you know, a really good relationship with her. But yep, Kim don't like that very much. Rainbow Sparkle for Diddy, that's a good name. So good luck, the Swifties are on her neck. Oh my god, you guys, I saw that. Like, that's so funny because, first of all, that's such old drama. Like, why would you even bring that up? And I just have to say this, okay? Listen. Kanye is my favorite living artist. But I also separate the artistry from the person. And I don't always agree with everything that Kanye does, or maybe I understand what the initial intention or idea was, but sometimes, you know, because he's a Gemini and an air sign, like, he's not always as refined, and sometimes he does it in a crass way or whatever. But I don't think that he was ever purposely trying to like fuck up Taylor's life with this song. And I think that, you know, the way that everything went, that was obviously Kim's doing. But Kanye, you know, took a lot of the backlash for that. And I'm talking about in regards to like leaking recorded calls and stuff like that. If you watch the documentary that got leaked, when was that, last month or the month before, where Kanye was calling Carlos an industry plant. Kanye films every single thing in his life because he's been, you know, making all these documentaries about his different albums and different stuff that he's doing. So I don't think that, I've never felt like Kanye purposely was like, set up the cameras, I'm gonna call Taylor. It was like they were already filming him going through the process of recording the album anyways. So it was just like, here's another part of, you know, the process, whatever. But obviously Kim took it on herself to handle it the way that she did, right? But, and I don't hate Taylor Swift, but I don't listen to her music and I'm not a Swiftie. But I will just say this. You're Taylor fucking Swift, for God's sakes. For you to say that your career was stolen from you, unless you were also referring to the Masters issue with Scooter Braun, I don't see how you could let Kim and Kanye take your whole entire career away. And I don't think that her career was stolen from her, because she made the whole Reputation album and era like based off of what happened in that situation. So it's like she had her comeback and she made money off of it. And it just solidified her spot even more. So it's like, I don't really think it was like the horrible bad thing that she was like making it seem like it was, where it's like, I couldn't leave that house for a year. I'm like, girl, like, come on. That's just really fucking dramatic. That is a really fucking dramatic. To say that you could not leave your house and that your career was stolen from you because somebody leaked a phone call, and you even came out later and said, oh, the problem wasn't what he said, it was that he was going to call me a bitch and I didn't know about that part. And a lot of people were like, oh, okay, well, I get it now, and we moved on anyways. It's like she's the one that kept refreshing it, and she's the one that keeps refreshing it and playing it for sympathy. And it's just like, girl, please find something else. I mean, you just had 2 breakups in the last year, and now you're in a 3rd relationship. You have plenty of fucking content. So, well, that's what I'm saying, Sana. She acts like her and Kanye did have sex and he taped it and leaked it for everybody. Like, girl, chill out. And I'm not saying that to defend Kanye. I'm just saying, it's like, at some point, why are you giving that much weight to anything? And Kanye's always been problematic. People never fucking take Kanye's side in anything. That's the other thing too, that I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, there were so many people that I saw that were on Taylor's side when that happened. And they were like, is Kanye ever gonna leave her alone? And I mean, you know, I talk about all the time, like, stuff happens. Kanye tells us things. Everybody says he's nuts. He gets canceled. And then like 2 years later, everybody's like, Kanye told us he was right. And then he gets uncanceled for an album, and then he winds up canceled again. Like, girl, you could have easily have moved past that. Like, it's not like it was Beyonce or somebody where you probably would have like suffered from some real permanent issues in your career afterwards, crossing them. Exactly, Lindsay. Even the fucking president was calling him a jackass. So it's just like, it wasn't the big deal that she thought it was. But now the Ye fans hate her again. So, and I'm just like, no, because this is my thing, why I don't want them to hate her and be mad at her. Number one, Nikki's gonna be on some Taylor Swift music next year, guys. Number two, Nikki is gonna be on Nobody. I don't want Kanye's fans sabotaging anything that Nikki is on just because they hate Taylor. I'm like, just remember, Kanye has repeatedly called Nikki his sister. Let's remember that and keep that in mind. You guys can go like do whatever you want to Taylor outside of it, but don't mess with her if like Nikki's involved, because we don't need any more of that shit this era. Like, we're done with that. But, and I will just say, didn't I tell y'all, Nikki is no longer blackballed, and we were not going to go through a hate train this era. Just dumb people who are stuck in the past and don't know that we're done with that. And Carlos's life is falling apart simultaneously, like I told y'all would happen. Just saying. She has so much power at this point. Even Beyonce would be the one who suffers if they butt heads. She'll be all right. Listen, that's why I'm telling you guys, if you really want to get back at the duds for messing with Nikki, get them into some beef with Taylor Swift and Selena Gomez and Hailey Bieber. They will get fucking canceled. You know, those crazy ass white girls will fucking destroy Megan Thee Stallion or Doja Cat or anybody else that y'all feel is deserving of that. Because can you imagine all of the fucking like memes and stuff about how like Mucus is like bullying poor little Selena Gomez and like, oh my god, you guys, she's a kidney, why would you do that to her, what's wrong with you? They will never ever recover, so get to work. Their fans are definitely rabid. I mean, look at the fact that Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber have been broken up for like 100 years. He's been married to somebody else for like, what, 6 or 7 years now, and they still bully poor Hailey constantly and make all these edits where it's like, oh, that time that Justin was mad at Hailey because he's still in love with Selena. And it's like something that happened last week. And it's like, that's, why, what does that have to do with Selena Gomez? But the fact that like her fans are still dragging a teenage relationship when this girl's like 30 years old at this point. I'm telling you, it's the best way to get back at the duds. Go get them in a fight with Selena Gomez. And Taylor Swift. Actually, it'd be easier for you guys to get Taylor and Megan in a fight with each other, because remember that they said that Travis Kelce and Megan were talking earlier this year after her and Party broke up. So there's a good fight right there. She stole her man. So, oh, of course they will, Sana. Dude, their edits are crazy. I swear. I don't know why, like, for some reason, YouTube kept, like, putting all of those weird edits, like, in the shorts for me. And I would be like, why is this, like, and it's literally, like, they have, like, a sad song, and it's all slowed down. And Justin Bieber is, like, walking, like, to some award ceremony, and he just happens to look, and they slow it down as he looks, and then they cut in Selena, and it's like, those are different events. But they're still trying to, like, make it seem like, oh, he can't move on. And it's just like, if I was Selena Gomez, to be honest with you guys, I would freaking hate that shit so much. Let me move on. This man is married to somebody else. I'm trying to have relationships with other people over here. Stop attaching me to my ex. Like, that has to be the most annoying thing in the entire fucking world as a celebrity. And on top of it, that I also feel bad for female celebrities is that, you know, every article that's ever written about Selena Gomez, they're always going to say, oh, the ex of Justin Bieber, you know, or they do this to all the female celebrities. They always have to mention whoever they're like dating or who they used to be dating. And it's like, this article is about her fucking makeup line. Why do you have to mention that she used to date Justin Bieber when you're talking about the fucking new lip glosses that she put out with Rare Beauty? And I know they do it for SEO terms, but it's just, how annoying does that have to be that the world will never let you move on from your ex? I would hate that so much. Because trust me, I would love to be a Black Widow and just eat the heads off of my exes and let them die after we break up. But since I can't do that, we just act like they no longer exist. So, all right. And then this is the last question that I'm going to do, guys. By the way, and we'll be back next week. We'll have a couple more of these and we'll do one in the evening too. I have to check my schedule to see which day I can do it because I don't have time this week. But in the meantime, I am not going to be doing regular sales next year. I am simplifying my life. I do not need to keep up with a bunch of stuff anymore. So this is the last big sale I'm going to do for quite a while, but half of all proceeds will go to both of the single mothers. I'm going to split it evenly between them for all the rest of the sales this month. You can use code December at checkout. It will take 45% off any appointments. So all right, this last question was, is Doja gonna go out and start doing stuff like working with Carlos to spite Nicki or just to be hateful? Which, by the way, I told y'all, and people were freaking trying to fight me so hard in the comments on that video. I told y'all months ago that Doja was gonna be starting some shit with Nicki and that she felt a type of way behind the scenes. And people kept being like, no, she doesn't. She loves her. Blah, 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 blah. Wow, look at what Nicki fucking confirmed. And we all know that she was talking about Doja. So, just saying, I was right again. Honestly, the stuff that people get the most pissed about, I always end up being hella fucking right about those things. I know if it pisses somebody off, then that's definitely I'm on the right track. Because you should have seen the people that used to get fucking mad at me when I kept saying Joe Biden was going to win the election. Guess what? He did. I was right. So, same thing with this. Okay, this is the thing first and foremost. As much as people can blame it on the Barbs, oh, you know, the Barbs made Doja feel like Nicki didn't like her. It was not the fucking Barbs. Doja was always gonna do this because, number one, look at how much that she used the Barbs to blow herself up in her career. And a lot of people did feel like it was very like calculated and pandering the way that she was all, I love you, Nicki, and all this stuff in the beginning. But I mean, listen, we all know Doja sold her soul. And part of that whole selling of her soul bit, it was really, you know, it's like we've talked about this. She alternates between wanting to destroy her own career and sabotage everything and then wanting to be number one and making the most money ever. Like, there's no in between with her of just enjoy your fucking career, girl. Like, no, there's no in between with that. It's like, and it really depends on what mood does Doja wake up today. And so when she's in her, well, I want everything and I want to be number one and I want to make the most money and I want to have the biggest tour and I want to be the biggest selling artist ever, then it's, well, who's the bitch I got to beef with to make that happen? So she chose to have the problem that she chose to have. And Spirit is saying, you know, keep in mind that at the same time that, you know, she's sitting there and telling Nicki that she didn't think she liked her or whatever to be on the damn song, she was also dealing with those lackluster ass sales of this damn album that nobody was interested in because we don't all want to sell our souls along with her. And so she already was feeling bad about where she was with things. And then you add in, well, here comes this super highly anticipated album that Nicki is about to put out that is gonna go crazy. And it's like, rather than looking at it as that's an opportunity for me to get some visibility, and maybe some of those people that listen to me on that song are gonna really like it and then want to go listen to my new album, she let the jealousy get to her and the insecurity, and then it became, well, everybody's gonna like Nicki's album more than mine. And so then it's like, well, now I don't want to do it. It's just dumb. It's just jealousy. It's very immature. Also, there is a man that's also in her ear that has been pushing her of, Nicki doesn't like you. You shouldn't work with her. She's still washed. That's not good for you and your career. And, you know, trying to manipulate her. I'm not sure who this man exactly would be. I know it's not Jay-Z, because, but it might be like a manager or a producer type of a person. So Doja is very impulsive. She's very immature. She gets jealous easy. She's very insecure about her own self, and she's not happy with the choices that she's made. And instead of just saying, how do I fix this? How do I like deal with my own shit? It's like, I'm going to take it out on other artists, on my fans, on whoever. And it's just like, girl. So we're going to see her do some petty shit because Spirit is saying that she is very upset that Nicki put this out. But at the same time, Spirit's saying it's like she knew that Nicki was gonna tell people this. Because Nicki tells us everything. She might wait a while until she feels like it's the appropriate time to tell us something. But Nicki always tells us, even if she doesn't directly say who the person was, but it's like we know enough to know, okay, it was this person or that person. And so she was hoping that she was going to do this because it was like, okay, good. Now I have an excuse. If I want to throw some shade or, you know, write a diss track or something like that, now the floodgates are open and I can do that. But she's acting like she's pissed that Nicki did this, even though it gave her what she really wanted. And I don't necessarily feel like she's going to run to go jump and work with Carlos. I think at some point we may see the two of them on a song together. But it doesn't feel like it would be any sort of like diss track. I feel like if Doja is gonna diss anybody, she's gonna do it on her own. Like, I don't gotta go do the Maddie link up to do that, but she will send her own shade either through tweets or something that she says on stage on this tour or songs that she puts out. I honestly feel like she probably would work more with like Megan before she would work with Carlos. That's the thing though, you guys. Doja doesn't like Carlos. I don't feel like she really likes Megan all that much either, but she feels like she can tolerate Megan more. Spirit saying that Doja does not like Carlos. So, but, yep, that was nice of you, Doja. In the words of Kanye and his fans, find God. Jesus can solve a lot of those problems that Doja has with herself, right? So, guys, let's go ahead and start wrapping it up because I have to get up off of here in a bit. We will be doing a couple more of these next week and through the rest of December, so that way we can raise funds and help out some families. In the meantime, if you would like to know more about any of the industry dealings or have the ability to request videos outside of YouTube or just come hang out with us, patreon.com/psychicbellalove, or another way that you can support is watch the video as many times as you want, run up the AdSense, or you can book a reading, psychicbellalove.com, and you can use code December to get 45% off, and half of all reading proceeds will be donated. And guys, remember today is the 12/12 portal. It is also the new moon. So it is a great day to manifest and focus on anything that is about elevating yourself, elevating your life, elevating your position, going, above and beyond. Do not be afraid to dream big. We are the only ones that hold ourselves back. So, and if you want to also, you can always send a super thanks after the videos are over. So, do I look really tan on this screen, or is that just my computer? I was like, why do I look so tan? I swear to God, maybe my natural color is actually showing up for once on here. I don't know why, I just feel like I look darker than normal on this screen. I was like, oh my God, am I not like completely washed out and looking like a ghost for once? It's incredible. So guys, I love you all so much. Remember, your ancestors love you. You are appreciated. God put you here for a reason, and God does not make mistakes. You are supposed to be here, and you are important, and you are important, and you are worthy and valuable and loved. So, wait, I look like the situation from Jersey Shore. I don't even use bronzer or contour or anything. Like, I literally just put on my foundation and concealer and powder like I always do. It's the same kind I always use. So, I don't know what's going on with the lighting today, but hey, I mean, I am Italian, so if I look like I got my Italian tan on, we will own it, right? I just realized, like, maybe because I forgot to close the window next to me, so the light's coming in weird. So, I know, I was just saying. No, I mean, I actually feel like I am, like, that color in real life. I always feel like the light always just like washes me out so much, and even when I tan during the summer, like the ring light makes me look so pale all the time. I'm not saying I'm like dark skinned, like, please. I'm not going to claim that I'm dark skinned like Carlos claims that her grandmother is, who looks exactly like Yolanda Saldivar, and there's a reason why she doesn't show us her family anymore. Imagine that you lie about being black so bad that you can't let anybody see who your family members are anymore. That's such a loser thing to do. She's just so funny to me. Like, it's just like the funniest joke ever when you think about like the dumb shit that she has done and the way that she has painted herself into these corners that now she's stuck in because of her lies and the industry bullshit that she was willing to play along with. That it's like, imagine you literally can't show your own family members because then everybody's gonna ask, why are you the only Afro-Latina in your family? And everybody else is a white Latino. Like, imagine that, like, now, like, you had to have your so-called soon-to-be ex-husband tell people that you help him write lyrics because you told everybody that you didn't give a fuck about writing, and now all of a sudden you do care because people are using it against you. It's just every other day the stories change with her, and then she has to scramble to, like, keep up with the lies, and it's just actually entertaining when you like look at it from an entertainment perspective and not take it seriously. So, oh my god, I know J-Lo and her stuff too, but so anyways, guys, I will leave you with that laugh. Let's all just remember that while the queen is in her Vogue era, Carlos is in her Walmart era where she rightfully belongs. So have a great rest of your day, you guys. I love you all so much, and make sure you are subscribed too, because once we reach 7,000 subscribers, we will have a big giveaway again. So I'll talk to y'all later. Bye, guys.